All right, I think I'll do one more really quick read here about ice and their, just allowing people to join ice and having masks, no badges, no warrants in hand. So what can you tell me about ice? What's going on with it? What's going to happen with it? I'm going to do a very quick read again. 12 cards, and then the one underneath of it all that's going to point the direction of the read, what's under the surface of it. So again, we'll try this very quick read. Instead of doing the extensive, okay, so underneath of it all, it is what's being worked on, the work being done, okay? The work being done. So the reading is about defending, being pushed to the edge, okay? Feeling pushed to the edge. And I see this people being pushed to the edge and the ice things coming with, clubs in hand, if you will. So this is about the next move, figuring out the next move, the next action, trying to come up with the next action, energy coming into it. It's about the manipulations, okay? This is an absolute manipulation being done, people feeling stressed with it, but the wheel is turning. So we'll have to see what happens with this. But yeah, there is something severely wrong with this. So what's going on today? Again, they're looking deeper into this. I'm sure that there are those that, because people are in an agreement about it, about this manipulation and the illegality of basically what they're doing. The challenge is a lot of care and concern about it that people have, nightmares about it when it comes to their loved ones. So again, people are in agreement about what's being done. Things are being worked on behind the scenes when it comes to investigating this deeper and their manipulations that are taking place, potential outcome, the insanity, the world, the moon, the insanity, the things being done by dark of night by guess who, Trump and Stein. The insanity of Trump. So all of this is going to continue to lead to the insanity of Trump. Now this has gotten away from Trump. So the Jewish Nazi and the killer of dogs are not listening to Trump. He said back off on some of this, and they go, no, we're not going to back off. We're going to continue to do what we're going to do. So who's in control? So the outside influence is, the wealth of this, the whole drama of this, and holding on. So who's trying to hold the line, the outside influence of this is the wealthy. The wealthy that are concerned with their bottom line. They're losing money, okay? The wealthy are losing money, and they're saying, look, you need to stop some of this because we don't have any employees anymore. okay? You're not going to have food. You're raiding the meat packing plants, you're raiding the farms, you're raiding the restaurants, you're raiding, all of these things. And so there's big, huge pushback about concern about holding on to their funds by the wealthy as he continues, as the killer of dogs and the Jewish Nazi continue to go forward with these huge raids, because they're not after the criminals, they're after anybody that came into this country that we don't like it, we say is a criminal, okay? Well, which is nonsense. Trump says they're all, rapists and the crazy people have been left out and all of these toxic things, and it's not. It's people out there doing the jobs that they can do. So again, behind the scenes, what's driving this is what is being worked on, and it comes down to the work ethic as well. The work ethic. These people are out there to work. So we have, again, feeling pushed to the edge by this moon madness and Trumpenstein and figuring out the next move. People are in an agreement about the manipulation and the overarching concerns with what's going on. They're looking deeper. There is more investigations, and the wheel is turning on this when it comes to the levers, what's being done. When it comes to manipulation, people are in agreement and trying to figure out the next move. The wheel is turning when it comes to feeling pushed to the edge, and again, more investigations into those surrounding Trump and the craziness that's happening, and an agreement of concern about Trump himself, okay? So, a lot of concern by people and by others. We know that there are law professionals that continue to come out against this type of thing. So we'll have to see how it goes forward. But it's, Noem and the Jewish Nazi are not listening at all. And there's a lot of concern by the wealthy that this is ruining our business. We can't do business. We can't do anything if you take away all of our workers. So I'm going to do one more real quick read. How is this going to go forward for the killer of dogs and the Jewish Nazi? So what's going to be happening with them with this? Because will Trump get rid of them? Because they're saying, we're not going to listen to you. We don't give a rat's ass what you're telling us to do. We're just going to continue to do this. Okay? Who the frick are you? You're just the president, okay? So let's see what it says about the Jewish Nazi and the killer of dogs. Cosplay killer of dogs there. So what's going to be happening with these two? So underneath of it, driving this is, what they're holding to. They're unrelenting, clinging to this. Both feet holding it down, okay? Got it in their lap. They're clinging on to this for life. This is what moves the Jewish Nazi, this hatred, and Noem, the killer of dogs. So the reading's about what they're trying to get away with, okay? The outcome of this, and not liking the harvest, okay? There are those, see what they're trying to get away with and not liking it at all, okay? Energy coming into it is about the action, controlling the action. And these, so we have here, we have the king and the queen attempting to control the action. So I would say this is Miller the Jewish Nazi and the killer of dogs that are controlling this action. Okay? She doesn't like the harvest, and he wants to continue the action to get away with this. So what's happening today is about this repression. Now, who's being repressed? Is this Trumpenstein being repressed? Okay? Taken out of the loop, you don't know anything. Okay? You're mentally unstable. Okay? Or is this Trumpenstein going to repress because we have a new cup here? A new empty cup. We'll have to see what it's being filled with. Their abominations, what's happening. The challenge is, the challenge is they're wanting to proceed, okay, because this is enriching them, their ability to be enriched, and could be investigations, or it could be that they may be starting to be out on a limb by themselves when it comes to this. Is this the killer of dogs that's on a solitary thing when it comes to this? Let's see if we can figure this out, because a potential outcome is one that actually has the ability of control, holding on to this. Who's got the final word, okay, of tempering it? Okay, so maybe Trump is going to grow a set of cojones and say, this is enough. The outside influence is not liking what's coming, not liking the options. Looking pretty miserable there, and trying to figure out the next action, tempering the next action. He doesn't like what's coming on, and again, the wealthy are not liking this, and figuring out the next action when it comes to going forward with, what they're trying to hang on to, especially the killer of dogs here. What they're trying to get away with. Not liking the harvest. We've got Miller, the Jewish Nazi, and the killer of dogs, wanting to control the power, the actions. But we have this cup, new cup coming in, and this repression. And the killer of dogs may be out on her own with this, trying to figure a way, because there is somebody else that's got the ultimate control to temper this, okay? Because the wealthy, again, they're not happy, and they're figuring out the next move. So on that note, I'll leave that here. We'll see you online.